Hey, everybody. On today's show, we'll cover 5 common myths about real estate CRMs. I'm going to confront these myths with facts, and I'll chime in with a personal perspective as well. Myth number 1, a CRM is only for team leaders, brokers, and not individual agents. Myth number 2, CRM is too expensive. Myth number 3, there are too many options. Number 4, real estate CRMs are too complicated. And myth number 5, a CRM is too time-consuming and it's a hassle. As always, links will be in the podcast and YouTube show notes. Sound good? All right, let's go for it. Welcome to the Aegis Martech podcast. I'm your host, Chris Chiatti with Aegis Martech, and the goal of this podcast is to empower and provide resources that build up tech-enabled small business owners who can confidently leverage their business software to generate more revenue, gain a competitive advantage, and enrich their professional relationships. Hey there, Chris here, and thanks for tuning in. Just a bit of housekeeping for those of you who are new to the podcast, because this podcast is specifically designed for local small business owners, real estate agents, teams, and brokers who are considering Zoho One or a digital transformation. And my aim is to help these individuals have the most successful Zoho One implementation experience imaginable, and to show them how technology can help them solve business problems and achieve their business goals. Now, as far as myself, I'm the school director at the Real Estate CRM school here in North America. We are licensed in multiple states to provide technology-based continuing education courses to real estate agents. As far as the Zoho community is concerned, I'm a reoccurring panelist for the Zoho Real Estate User Group. I'm leader of the Pensacola, Florida Zoho User Group and a member of both the education and small business Zoho User Group. But again, thanks for being a part of today's show. I hope you find it informative and helpful in your business journey. All right, now that we've got that out the way, let's get into the show. So if as a residential real estate agent, you've been resistant to using the real estate CRM, you're definitely not alone. I mean, because the topic of real estate CRM, it's often misunderstood. And in today's show, I'm going to cover some of the more common myths around that. But know this, that as of this recording, December 2023, if you're in North America, you know that the role of residential real estate agents like you is undergoing a significant transformation. Now, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole in today's show, but unless you've been living underneath a rock, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But moving on. So real estate agents need to be tech savvy now more than ever. And embracing tools that achieve this is no longer optional. It's mandatory. But it's crucial to balance this with a personal touch and to make sure that technology doesn't replace the personal touch, right? I mean, relationship marketing and relationship communication and just the whole show me that you know me culture is more important now in a digital age than ever. Okay, because these big tech giants, they're throwing billions. There was just a $500 million acquisition here a few days ago by the 500-pound gorilla in the room. Just made one. So these folks are throwing hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. They're putting all their chips in on the digital end. But because what they can't do is they can't replace us as local small business owners or as real estate agents. They cannot replace that personal touch. So they're going all in on the digital end. However, we have the advantage. As agents, as local small business owners, I'm not an agent, but if I were an agent, but I am a local small business owner, we have the advantage, of both leveraging technology while still holding on to our ability to maintain that personal, relational communication and relationship. That personal, relationship with our clients. And what a CRM does is a CRM, it helps you manage your customer relationship with all the data streams, all the ways that a customer can communicate with you, that you can access them, communicate with them, that they can give you information, that information passes. I mean, I just simply don't know how someone can do that in the modern era without a relationship manager, a CRM. And what you're going to hear more of, and I'll wrap up my introduction with this, because of all the current events that have happened within the last 2 weeks here in North America, around the October, November timeframe. The funny thing is, what all the, I'm using air quotes now, all the gurus are talking about is going back to the basics, relationships, being the local experts. Now, many of them have been saying that from day one for the longest time, but now they're really doubling down on it because, those platforms that were playing friendly with agents and teams of brokers, well, they're starting to change their terms of service, and now folks are seeing, hey, these guys are they're trying to nudge us out of here, So everybody's like, so now the coaches and everybody's like, yeah, go back to the relationships now, be a part of the local this, that, and the other, sponsor the softball team, have a bake out or something, have a paper shredding event, go back to events, get back in the neighborhood, go local again. Hello, back to relationships, back to basics. Okay. So I'll get off my podium, off my high horse, off of that. Now let's get into the 5 myths. And I think I'm going to start off at the top. So myth number one is a CRM is only for team leaders, brokers, and not individual agents. This is true. Because you'll be hard pressed to find a team leader or a broker that doesn't have a CRM. Because you're managing a business, you're running a business, you need to see reports, you need to see activity, you need to see, your pipeline. You need to see what your revenue is looking like, what's closing, what's pending, what's stalled. So at the broker and team owner level, absolutely, that's true. But individual agents say, hey, you know what? This is not for me. I'm an agent. I can manage my customers, my prospects, my leads. I don't need a CRM. I don't need the CRM that my broker is providing to me free of charge. They just want to watch and see everything I'm doing. I don't need it. I can take care of it. Again, that was then. Now, that's not the case, because the fact is that client-facing agents are beginning to realize that they benefit greatly from a CRM. Because if your goal is to sell more homes and communicate better with your clients, anybody who's tried a CRM, any agent who's tried a CRM, or wants to stay consistent with their communication with their customers, they realize that a CRM can help you make that happen because it's centralized. Everything is right there in the same place. You aren't jumping to this app that you put a note in. You aren't jumping to this application that has your emails. You aren't jumping over to this platform that has your documents. It's all centralized right there in the CRM, and you can call up or surface up anything that you want at a moment's notice. Just the organizational features of a CRM, it's something that just makes you as an individual agent function better on behalf of your clients. You're able to see your appointments, reschedule your appointments, make sure there aren't any booking conflicts. If you decide to grow or scale your team and you bring on an assistant, they can have access to this disparate, to this Trello board over here, and to this Slack channel over here, and then to your email client over here, and to this thing. It's all over the place. How can they actually keep that? They're logging into so many different devices versus having that one system, that one tool that has everything organized in there, And if you do decide to, bring on other folks, to work with you, to grow your business, and you have standardized operating procedures and processes, modern CRMs allow you to build that into it. Like, for instance, within Zoho, we have like Bluprints to where you can standardize. Okay, this is what happens. This is step one when a lead comes in. This is what we do first. This is what we do second. When someone moves from appointment set to appointment met, this is what gets sent to them. This is what the activity that's done. You can have all those things locked into your system. So a new agent that you're a new agent or assistant that you're training, irrespective of their role, there's no guesswork. It's right there. It's hard coded in the system. You can have your notes in there. Once you set it in there, they just need to follow all the steps in there. Versus, let's say, them picking up the phone, calling you, hey, what do we do this? How do we do this? What's next? Should I send this? Should I send that? It's already mapped in. And the workflow is already housed within the system, for them to go ahead and do that. So as an agent, and again, I'm getting ahead to say, in saying that, if you're scaling, bringing on help, but if you're just going to do the solo agent thing, it's just so much better, to use a real estate CRM. And again, an often cited stat that I often say on this podcast is there was a study, another study, I think it was 2021 or 2022, and 95% of the top producing real estate agents, not brokers or teams, but agents, use a CRM on a daily basis. Its ability to, facilitate sharing relevant data to your vendors, your contractors, your closing attorneys, your title companies, and again, just because of these data streams, if folks just, whatever data they need, it could be your vendor, your stager, your photographer, is just like click, click, bang, it's off. They've got it, But again, I'll go ahead and end this first myth on this, something that I stated earlier, because you're going to hear this more. Don't take my word for it. Whoever your person to listen to, get advice from, when it comes to best practices in real estate, how to be successful in real estate, you're going to start hearing them say more, especially now. If you're in North America, going back, they're going to be talking more and more about relationships, because the threat of being displaced in this industry now is greater than ever. But again, hate to sound like a broken record, our advantage as local small business owners and real estate agents is our ability to have relationships with our customers and our clients. That's something that these big tech giants can't do. So get something to manage your relationships, because that's your competitive advantage. Don't resist it. Lean into it and let it work for you. So next myth. Myth number 2. Where are you? Pardon me, this is a little bit out of order on my board. Oh yeah, it's too expensive. Oh, these CRMs, they're just way too expensive. It's only for the top producers. Yeah, you mentioned those 95% of agents, but those are the top producers. Those are the folks that are closing 50, 70, 100 deals. They can afford these CRMs. It's prohibitively expensive, to get and use a real estate CRM. Now, that's the myth. The fact is, I don't know how this decades old myth still exists. I seriously doubt that anybody out there still thinks that, for like a real estate CRM to like use one, you need like to have like a server installed on premises or anything like that. Nah, because everybody knows that everything is in the cloud. However, with that being said, there are some pricey CRMs out there, but it just depends on what you want and what you need, right? And I'm going to get more into that as far as there are like too many options, when we talk about that myth. But if you're running a team, when you're a broker, if you're in multiple states and you need a platform that's going to generate your leads for you, that's going to do your Google AdWords for you, it's going to generate your leads for you, it's going to have a website in there. The website is going to be linked to the MLS system. You're going to have an IDX, so everything that's for sale, your customer can access it through your portal. I mean, just a one-stop shop from the top of the funnel, through your transaction management, through your compliance, just everything on one platform, for hundreds of agents. Yeah, it's going to be pricey, but if you want a very powerful, robust real estate CRM for a residential real estate agent to where you can manage and run your business from lead to close, you can get that for as low as $30 a month. On average, a really good real estate CRM that's going to give you more than what you need, you're looking anywhere between $30 to $65 a month. Full stop, period, dot. That's it. But then if you're like, okay, well, I need a website builder, and I need you guys to be able to like have a wall up there, an opt-in, because I don't want any folks just going there just looking at all the properties. I want to go and be able to capture emails, and then once that email comes in, I want it to go ahead and just ping me or notify me to go and give them a call or do like a round robin to my ISA or someone on my team to go ahead and give them a call or to reach out to them. It just depends on what you need to have done, but for the most part, most agents can get away with paying less than $75 a month, and again, on average, probably about $45 a month for a very strong and powerful real estate CRM, that's made for the real estate industry. Now, if you're a solo agent or if you're a small team, let's say, like three, 4 folks on your team at most, you can look at something like Zoho One, which is only like $45 a month per user. And with Zoho One, you get all the applications, not just the CRM. But let's say if you wanted a real estate vertical CRM, you can look at something like Wise Agent, which, for me, I don't have a skin in the game with Wise Agent, but that's one of my personal favorites as far as just a really good, powerful, fully loaded, CRM that's just incredibly priced, and I just think I just have a really good feeling about the folks. I love the content they put out there. And all the agents that I've talked to, who have used it, I mean, they may have, some stayed, some may have left because it kind of hit a ceiling and some of the features, but I've heard nothing, but good stuff from agents who used, the Wise Agent, CRM for real estate. So as far as the cost wise, it's too expensive. Not true, man. Not true at all. Again, we're talking about getting a real estate CRM for like the cost of a week's worth of coffee. All right. So yeah, that's a myth. Moving on to number 3, there are too many options for me to know which one is right or best for my business. There are just too many options. There's too many options for where do I start? Great question. That's a fact. If you've seen, of course, I've had this podcast on Google, Amazon, Spotify, and somewhere else. But then also on YouTube, like sometimes I'll put up like a little B-roll and I'll put up some images. I have this little image board of just the real estate CRMs that I kind of researched, for the real estate school and for, creating my courses just to see what was out there, just doing my due diligence and putting in those, where am I at, 7,000, 8,000 hours of research, into real estate CRMs now. And yeah, I mean, there was like I think I stopped at like 50, right? I mean, there are tons out there. And there are far more than that. And some of the ones that I researched, unfortunately, some of them are not around anymore. And there were new ones that popped up since then. But truth be told, I agree. There are tons out there. So, I mean, that's partially true. Totally agree, that the real estate CRM options can kind of feel like, Netflix or like Baskin Robbins, But there's a tired cliche that the best CRM, even though there are a lot of options, that the best CRM is the one that you use. Now, that's not all the way true. That's false. The truth is, the best real estate CRM is the one that does what you need it to do. Okay? And I think you've heard me say this before. The best real estate CRM is the one that does what you need it to do. And man, I'm so tempted to go down this rabbit hole here. Because this is one of the things that actually lead to folks abandoning their digital transformation in all shapes and sizes and colors. I don't care if it's a real estate agent, if it's a small business owner or a medium-sized company. They will get a piece of technology, say, oh, this doesn't work, it's too complicated, it's this, it's that, or whatever. They'll throw their hands up, and this stuff is just, it's bogus. I'm not even gonna mess with it. Part of the problem, part of the problem is that if you as a business owner, as an agent, you haven't defined out or mapped out like your processes, and this is not even calculus. It's not hard to do, but mapped out your business process. And then with that, know what you need this tech to do. If you just go to the technology vendor and you're like, okay, what will happen is either one, you'll start using the technology and you'll be like, oh my goodness, this thing doesn't work because I can't do A, B, and C. I can't run my business with it because it can't do this, it can't do this, it can't do that. Well, you have to get those things out in the pre-implementation planning phase. Hey, shout out to our second course, which just got approved in the state of Georgia. Yay! Very happy getting started with the real estate CRM. So proud of this course. It's one of the reasons why I kind of fell off the radar here for a second, because I just really had to revamp it. But I'm so proud. Not proud. I don't like that word, too tough. But I'm happy. I'm grateful for the content that's in it, because we talk a lot about the pre-implementation planning phase. And going through that planning to make sure that the implementation of your real estate CRM works well. Okay. So kind of getting a little bit off topic here. So let me go ahead and reel myself back in. But I'm saying that to go ahead and say this, and where this ties back into the too many options, and you don't really want to even look at the options. The reason why you want to figure out your processes is so that when you're having these conversations with all these vendors, if you choose to, you can say, hey, this is what we do. These are our workflows. These are our processes. Can we do this with your software? Okay? Because if we can't, then we need to look elsewhere. And can we scale with your software? So that's an exercise that, unfortunately, the vendors, they're not going to let you know, hey, you need to do some pre-implementation planning up front before you go ahead and sign on the dotted line or before you start moving all your data in. You need to make sure that, if you're using other pieces of software that you have to have integrated with this. So let's say if you're in real estate, whatever you use for your documents, if it's Dotloop or something like that, or if you're a broker, you have something on the back end, whether it's SkySlope or any of the other platforms, if you need those things to integrate, or Sisu, if you need some of those things to integrate with this CRM, you need to go ahead and have that mapped out so that when you have that conversation with that vendor, you say, okay, these are the platforms, or these are the softwares that we're using, or this is how we run our business. Can we do this with your software? Will this solution architecture, which is what it's called? I don't want to go down too far to get into too much technobabble, but that's kind of what it's called. And can our data, can we map our data over, and can we have all these integrations done so our business runs well? So the myth is there's too many options, and you're like, Chris, man, you're talking about pre-implementation planning, but trust me, it's totally related, and it's absolutely related and tied into the too many options thing, because the thing is it's not about the options, because you don't see them as a lot of options. When you know what you need, there could be 1,000 of them. You're like, now they're just, all you're doing is presenting to them what you needed to do, and then they're letting you know, yes, we can do it, or no, we can't do it. You aren't just going to them and saying, okay, give me a reason to choose you over this next person, No. You're kind of reversing the table and putting the responsibility on them to prove to you that they can run your business, they can facilitate your business with their software. Because, for instance, let's say, okay, I've got two hats here. I've got my real estate agent hat, and I've got my broker hat. The reality is, like this, the CRM needs of a broker and an owner is going to differ from the CRM needs of a real estate agent. That's why this thing needs to be, this pre-implementation needs to be done beforehand, because these needs are going to be different. Because if you go to a trade show or you go to a conference, and this is what happens, right? So a team leader or a team owner or a broker, or let's say even an agent will go to one of these conferences or events or something like that, and get excited, and you're walking through and you have all the vendors, they're out there and have products, and someone pulls you aside and it shows you all the whiz bang that the thing does. You're like, oh my goodness, our software can do this for you, can do that for you. Everybody gets excited, and you come back and you're like, okay, sign us up. And you haven't gone through that pre-implementation planning. You get into the software, you're like, oh my goodness, this, and then you're like, this thing is not doing what we need it to do. And then you're so far in, you feel stuck, right? So by going through this pre-implementation planning phase, as a broker, you have your needs list that you're presenting to them, or as an agent, you have your needs list that you're presenting to them. For example, brokers and owners, they tend to be more focused on measuring the ROI of their advertising, the effectiveness of their teams, in closing sales, who's closing, who's not closing, who's stalled, who's not stalled. Versus, let's say, real estate agents, they may be more interested, in, like the quality leads, and simplifying their day-to-day just task and reminders and to-dos. I don't want anything to just fall through any of the cracks. I want to make sure that this person is followed up, that someone who's at this stage, who may be a warm prospect, gets followed up with in a timely manner. So how do I make sure that gets done? So as an agent, like, your needs list will be different from the needs list, of a broker. So, and I've said this in a previous podcast. So what you do is, and I just said it, is like, when you're shopping for like a real estate CRM, you want to start by making a list of the features that you want, and then filter. Well, one, you want to start by making a list of the features that you want, your nice to haves. Okay, this is what I want. Okay, that's what you want to do first. And then you kind of filter that down to like, okay, what do I need? What's like my must have? Okay, this is what I want. Okay, that's nice. But what out of this want list do I absolutely need? And then finally, like, the third thing that you can do is you want to rank those needs by priority, and just prioritize them. you know, and then whenever you review, you know, a real estate CRM's product, like their details page, like what comes with it, like the features page, or you're on the phone or you're going through a demo or you're talking to one of the product folks, just make sure that that CRM offers you what you not just offers you what you need, but that it excels in that area. You know, and a lot of times, I mean, it's easy to see, like, you know, like if a real estate CRM, you know, it's all cracked up to how the vendors are like pushing it, you know, if it's all, you know, cracked up to what they say it is, you can go to these third-party review sites and just read some of the reviews. Like I think it's Capterra, Gartner, another one, G2, Software Advice, you know, and, you know, they'll provide you with like customer reviews as well as data-driven insights, you know, into the product and services. And they can also, you know, aid you in your decisions. But one of the best ways that I found is just ask around. You know, you always, you know, we're always in groups and peer groups. Ask some of your peers, what are they using? If the real estate CRM has an open group, you know, like a Facebook group or, you know, a user group, chime in there, see, you know, how do some of the users, you know, feel about it, you know? So that's how, you know, you want to address that myth of their you know, of the options, the too many options myth. You know, there are a lot of choices out there, but again, it's on them to prove to you that they can do what needs to be done for your business to run seamlessly and properly on their platform, on their software. Okay? Not vice versa. Okay, this next one I'm going to go ahead and go through because some of the points I've already covered when we're talking about the too many options. And myth number 4 is a real estate CRM is too complicated. I'm going to probably wear like there's two scenarios or two hats I'm going to put on here. One is like, as an agent, I'm a real estate agent saying, man, these CRMs, they're just too complicated, right? And then the other hat I'm going to put on, or the other scenario is if I'm an agent who's a part of a team or an organization where, you know, we're supposed to, or we have to use the CRM. And then maybe the third scenario is in all three of these people are saying it's too complicated, right? And the third scenario is if I'm a team owner or I'm a broker, says, oh man, yeah, we try this, we keep trying these different systems and just, you know, getting folks to just, you know, get our agents to use it or get our person to use it, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So the first one is the agent who says, it's too complicated. And again, I'm going to be quick on this one because that kind of it's similar to my position is the same as far as what I just spoke to, as far as the whole too many options. You have to be in the driver's seat. So you know how you run your business. You know how you close transactions. You know, as a real estate agent, you've been doing this, right? So you know how your business runs and what your processes are. That's what you take to the real estate CRM, to the software vendor, and says, show me that you can do this for me. Show me that your system can do this and show me how it can do this. Okay? Because this is how it's done in my business. This is how I do it. Sometimes what will happen is if you don't take that approach and you just like get a CRM, sometimes if it can't be customized to kind of fit your workflows and your processes, then what will happen is you're forced to kind of run your business based on how that software works. One example is an extreme example. I'm not going to name the software company because I hope they fix this, but it's a very popular system for like deal stages. Like this software, which is very popular and I think is highly used by one of the large brokerages here in North America, like they have 5 stages, you know, like a lead, prospect, you know, just 5 pipeline stages, which are hard coded in. So if you're an agent, you only have 4 or you may have 7 or 8. Tough luck. You're out of luck. You know, you have to use the 5 stages, pipeline stages that's in their CRM. There's no way to go ahead and change that. So that's an example of if you don't have that must-have list, that needs list. Okay, this is what I needed to do. This is how we run our processes in our business and our workflows. Then you get a system, get hyped up at a conference or at an event. You get a real estate CRM and you figure out, oh my goodness, yeah, it does all these other bells and whistles I'm excited about, but our pipeline doesn't work this way. Or if you're a broker, you need to see certain reports. It's not giving you the reports that you need. The second hat I was going to put on, as far as this whole too complicated thing, was that of being an agent in an organization. And again, just to go back to that whole pre-implementation planning phase, is that if you're a team leader, team owner, manager, or broker, these conversations, and you're not, and you have agents there, in your organization, before you bring on a system integrator or an implementation partner, and start, having them, design and build out your system, you want to talk to your people to say, okay, this is how we're doing business. This is how our business runs now, our current state. This is how it's going. This is what it's going to look like in the future once we bring on this new, I'm using air quotes, system, this new tech. Okay. This is how, leads are going to come in. And then, on your cell phone, you're going to have this app and you'll be notified. And then we're going to make our calls through the application instead of just making the calls, through, your regular cell phone. You're going to open up the app and make your calls. And I'm speaking that, this is like, a team owner, team manager, broker telling an agent, or, letting an agent know, having this conversation well before you bring on the technology. Our calls are going to be made through the application. You have to have these conversations with your organization, with your personnel in the pre-implementation planning phase, prior to being on that technology, to let them know what that future state is going to look like. Because what happens is that, owners and leaders, they will leave that up to the system integrator or the implementation partner, say, okay, they're training, them training our agents to use the software, that's going to solve for that. And no, it's not. Because what will happen is that's when you're going to get that change resistance. When you just thrust it on your people without having that conversation with them, letting them know how things are going to change, and then assessing and doing that type of analysis of your organization to say, okay, are we ready for this change? Are we ready for this new system? And again, shout out to I call it CE2. That's just how internally, that's the nomenclature that I use. But to the second course that we have, Getting Started with Your Real Estate CRM, goes really deep into that whole pre-implementation planning phase. And that's not something that I just made up. I mean, this is tried and true, proven process at the enterprise level. This is what multinational and multi-billion-dollar enterprise level companies, this is what they do. So I researched all that to make it palatable for us at the local small business owner and a real estate agent and team and broker level, to help to bring that failure rate down. Because across the board, the failure rate for CRM implementations, and this ties into the whole complicated, because when people say, man, this stuff is complicated, they throw their hands up, they check out. I'm done. I'm good. I'm going back to what I was doing. And that's known as change resistance. My job was to figure out, okay, why, for the real estate industry, we all know, you heard me cite this stat, it's a very low adoption rate, 26% adoption rate. However, of that 26% who do use it, 95% are the top producers. So why is there such a high failure rate? That's my job. This whole purpose, this whole platform, the podcast, the media, the podcast, the shows, the YouTube channels, is to help, and even the school, is to be a part of the solution. This whole conversation is to help to be a part of the solution. So we will solve for this. There is a need for it because it's a huge problem. But one of the solutions and folks will be like, okay, it's complicated. It's the technology that's complicated. No, it's not. It's not necessarily the tech that's complicated. Because again, if you're taking the right approach, the tech is to serve you, not you to go in and serve the tech. The tech's supposed to follow your processes and your workflow and how your business works. Okay. And when you take that approach, then it complements you, and then just the failure rate, just the low adoption, you can preempt that. You can prevent that by being preemptive in the conversations that you're having internally in your organization, or if you're a solo agent, by going through these exercises, these pre-implementation planning exercises to say, okay, this is how my business runs, and this is what I need the technology to go ahead and do. All right, I was just checking some of the other notes there, but it looks like I covered that. So yeah, change management, all that stuff has to be done beforehand, before you bring on the technology. This is in between the hip hip hooray session at the event or at the conference when you're excited. Oh, we're getting a new tech. It's going to do this. It's going to do it between that phase and getting a system integrator or implementation partner. This is where that getting started, that pre-implementation planning phase goes in. And realistically, it's going to take, depending on the size of your organization, how many people you have, and your organizational structure, it could take a couple of months, but it's going to save you tons of money. And one of the most important things it's going to save you in is not having to encounter any type of disruption. Myth number 5, a CRM is too time consuming and it's a hassle. Okay, so it's number 5 here. It's too time consuming. Oh man, there's so many things that this can mean, but unfortunately in these surveys, that's all I'm left with is, just that comment. It's too time consuming. It would probably be helpful if I just, had someone give me some examples here, but I'm just going to go over a couple of them. One of the ways that statement could, one of the ways someone could probably interpret that is as far as the learning curve, because truth be told, if there's one thing that a CRM does really well, it frees up your time. You have way more time to invest in other areas in your business that usually would fall to the wayside. You'll just find yourself just having way more free time to work on other aspects of your business. So honestly, I believe this whole myth of it being time consuming has more to do with the learning curve, learning how to use the system. And look, full disclosure, yes, it's going to take it's going to take a bit of time, to learn how to use a real estate CRM. But if you use a CRM before, it's nothing. Using a real estate CRM is just, it's just something else. It's a CRM just by a different name. It's just made specifically for your vertical. It's actually going to be easier to use because it's made specifically for your vertical. But modern CRM systems, they're so easy. Well, some of them, are really easy, to onboard, and use that really helps as far as that whole learning curve challenge. However, I can't speak for all of them. So that's probably going to have to go into the research phase to see what people are saying about support. I'll give you an example. And I heard this the other day. One of the bigger players in the CRM industry, I heard for a support ticket, that's okay, something's wrong in my system. They have a little help thing here where I can fill out this little form. Hey, I can't get this to work, or how do I do this? In my CRM, you hit send. I've heard, and I'm not going to say their name, but some of the systems, it could take them up to a month to reply back to you. I said, no way. I guess I'm spoiled because, here at Zoho, we're talking minutes, and I don't even have I don't even pay for, and that's just with the free support that comes with the being a Zoho One user. They have tier levels. You can get premium support to where I think you get an assigned person, but I just have just a regular vanilla support that just comes with, there's a little question mark, in my app. I click that, I send off a question, and same day, if I send it, first thing in the morning before noon, someone's replying back to me, man. They're just awesome like that. But And a lot of the real estate CRM folks are like that. Like, for instance, Wise Agent. Again, I don't have any skin in the game with Wise Agent, but like they have free 24/7 support. So if you are challenged on the whole learning curve and it's like, man, this thing is complicated, how to do this, like someone like Wise Agent, I mean, it's free. It's included, in their system. But other vendors, they will charge you for that. And maybe in one of the previous podcasts, but definitely one of the future podcasts, because this podcast kind of runs in parallel with the first CE course, Introduction to Real Estate CRM, so where we get into things to look for or warning signs. And one of them, that I've mentioned a couple of times, if I already have it, is you want to be clear with them. Like, what does your support look like? One, what does your training look like? And two, what does your support look like? So if you're, because like in this show, like I'm not sure who could be listening. If, I could be speaking to an agent right now. I could be speaking to a team owner. I could be speaking to a broker. So, I mean, a broker may be like, hey, I can pay, I'm going to pay for the premium support for my folks, or I'm going to hire one of the implementation partners. So we even have, not only do we have the support that comes with this, with the software vendor, but we're going to have this separate third-party company there too as well, to work with us, through our implementation. So they're good. That, in that case, that person's set. But if you're just, if you're a solo agent, you want to digitally transform, you're looking to start using a CRM tool, yeah, you definitely want to have that conversation beforehand with the vendor and to see what their support looks like and what their training looks like. And, do they have office hours? A lot of them have office hours, yeah, a lot of them have like office hours that's open and free, and weekly live webinars. So yeah, so check that out. So if the whole complicated thing is about learning how to use it initially, then that learning curve, it again, you want to get ahead of that, when you're qualifying these folks, asking them that question. But as far as using it, no way, man. I mean, you're not standing there typing things in, especially if you have forms, how are your leads coming in, and if your leads are coming in and they're entering data on the website or on the form, that stuff is just being mapped in. It's just flowing right into your system. You aren't even entering it in. They're entering that data in on their end. And if you have workflows and automations set up in your system that you will have to do, you don't have to manually go in there and say, okay, I need to follow up with this person. You can have like a time delayed workflow set up. Like, okay, when a lead comes in, or when someone hits this stage, or they're at this stage in the home buying or home selling process, and we are waiting on, this many days from escrow, or, we ordered the appraisal's been ordered on this day, or the inspection's been ordered on this day. And if this box hasn't been checked, like appraisals in or inspections in, send me a notification, notify me, have something pop up on my phone. Say, hey, 24 hours until, or hey, XYZ is 1 day overdue, or this has not happened yet. So once you set those automations in, it's like a set it and forget it. You don't even have to go into the system. So it frees you up. It gives you that freedom. And trust me, I know, because talk about context shifting, man. I mean, like I have to personally do context shifting between, a service business, a real estate school, and this thing right here. So when I'm going from, all the workflows and processes in the service business to, okay, there's a CE class that's about to, that CE credits had to be filed for. I've got that. Like I use Zoho. I've got that in the blueprint. So the blueprint tells me what to do next. So I can go in there and just like be like, just absent mind, well, not absent, for lack of a better word, absent minded, but I can just go in there and just read it. It tells me, okay, Chris, do this now. Go in here, open this, send this here, click this box, I just have to go down, check that box, do the next text, check that box. And it gets done, because I know that I put in the intentional thought into setting up that blueprint, that as long as I follow those steps, it gets done. And that was the reason why I did it, Not because, I was like, okay, I'm just going to forget it because I said, you know what? I'm going to have to do this and there's going to be a context switch to this business, but I don't want to have to try to jar my memory. If I have this thing in a blueprint and it's solid, then all I have to do is just follow the blueprint to move it from this stage to the next stage. Then boom, that's good. That's done for now. And when I need to take action in that system or in that business, I'll get notified. Now I can go back over here and do this thing. So as far as the time consuming thing, nah. Once you have it set up and you realize the power of not just workflows, but you have to have those workflows and those processes, but having them automated, you're like, it's like a ah caramba moment, like a Bart Simpson ah caramba moment, man. I mean, yeah, it really is, liberating. So it looks like there was a little bit more I was going to get into, but I'm going to stop it there. I promise you, folks, I had no idea I was going to go 50 minutes. This was not my intentions, but I'll definitely try to chop this up. So hopefully I'll get this down to a reasonable time. What else? Hey, there will be in the show notes, if you are a Zoho user and you just typed in Zoho on one of the podcast platforms or YouTube and you're in the real estate industry, we do have a real estate Zoho user group. It is free for Zoho users, and come in there and if you're a Zoho user, you have any questions about your system, it's a peer group. It's like, where you have like other folks, and just it's there to foster collective learning. We have folks in there from title, we have vendors. I mean, not vendors, but we have title, we have mortgage lenders. That's what I wanted to say, lenders. We have a bunch of wholesalers in there, investors. We have asset management folks. Of course, we have brokers. We have real estate agents. We have transaction coordinators in there. We have folks in commercial real estate. I'm forgetting some folks or some segments, so I apologize for that. But we have a real estate Zoho user group that will be down in the description. If you're interested in Zoho, trying out Zoho, I'll have one of my affiliate links down there in the chat. They give me like 10 cents anytime somebody signs up for Zoho. I'm not doing it for the money. Trust me, I'm kidding. But I'm not an affiliate, to get rich or anything like that. It's just so I can, have use of their logo. Because, otherwise I would they would send me a cease and desist letter quick. So in order to have the Zoho logo and to, kind of stay within the guidelines, and they have really strict guidelines of what I can do, because I'm not a Zoho employee and I'm independent, and, anything that I say or do is not co-signed by Zoho, but, I love them. I love the folks there, and, I like to represent them in, any way that I can. So, but for me to have permission to use, their logos and, stuff for their apps, I have to, be like an affiliate. So I am. And if there is a link down in the chat for like Zoho One for the application or something like that, there will be an affiliate link, but you don't have to use it. Just go to Google, type Zoho One, and, go ahead and try it out. Sign up for a free trial. Let me know how you like it. That's it for today, folks. I'm sure I forgot something. How can you forget something, Chris? You're gone for almost an hour. This is ridiculous, man. What am I doing? I should have been only like 25 minutes, but I had fun. Hey, thanks for sticking by. If you were crazy enough to stick by this entire time, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.